What it do, good people? Welcome back to KDTV. Hope everybody out there has been safe, productive, and blessed since the last time we talked. Today's guest is actually the first female artist that I've had the privilege of interviewing. All right, she comes to us from Houston by way of Savannah, Georgia. All right. In the pregame, I was very impressed with her as far as her resume of work and hearing highlights of her story. And I'm very intrigued as far as hearing more in-depth details about her story as far as where she's at right now. From what I've experienced in conversation with her, she's a good soul. She got a good heart. And from what I'm hearing, she got some pipes on her. She can blow. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to the stage C'iante. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, first off.
Hey, it ain't no problem. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you're the first female artist that I've had a chance to interview or whatnot. And I see that as a privilege because I want to make my platform as diverse as possible. And in that, the guys, they are always up to the task as far as being rah-rah and want to tell their story. But me being a girl dad, having a wife, of course, being raised by women. My mama, she got like 3 sisters and she only had 1 brother. So I grew up around women or whatnot. So I really cherish a woman's perspective or whatnot. So that's why I say it's really a privilege to have you on the platform.
Absolutely.
So let's get into your story or whatnot. So you're in Houston right now, but you're originally from Savannah, Georgia, correct?
Yes, I am. So I moved to Houston about 1.5 years ago. Almost getting ready to hit 2 years, honestly, in August. So I've been out here for a while. God has been opening up some major doors for me since I've been here, but it's nothing like home. Seaport all day.
You say Seaport?
Seaport all day.
So I've heard different perspectives. I've had several guests on my platform from Savannah. 2 interviews I haven't actually produced yet or published yet, but the one that I have published was Anthony Lanier.
Yes, and that is one of my closest friends. We went to elementary school together, and his mom taught my sister. She was my sister's coach, and she taught my sister, but she also taught me too. So shout out to Miss Lanier. She has, her and Anthony, they have really been prominent in my career as far as like us both sitting on each other's our boards within our nonprofit. So that's the foundation.
Yeah, Miss Lanier. Shout out to Miss Lanier because she seems like she one of them warrior women. Like she stand on business. Yeah.
She is definitely a warrior. And let's not, we are from Herschel B. Jenkins, which is the home of the Warriors. So
okay. Herschel B. Jenkins. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We went to high school there, so that's the home of the Warriors.
So what was it like for you growing up in Savannah?
Honestly, when I was younger, my grandmother and my granddad had a street. It was Thomas Ave. So I'm brought up on south side of Savannah, Sandfly area. So it was like all of my family, we grew up like my cousins and us, we grew up like siblings. So we would come outside every day, come from my grandma's house, and everybody was playing in the street. And I think my Good Old Days song kind of illustrates like the good old days growing up in Sandfly on Thomas Avenue, having access to both grandparents, one grandparent at one side of the road and the other one at the other side of the road. So that was my childhood. It was, I won't paint a horrible story. I won't paint a horrible story. Because, everything is a learning lesson. We go through things for a reason. And my foundation has always been Christ. So anything that I do, I'm going to give him the glory through it all. Even though I'm not a gospel artist, I am going to make sure I, give God his praises.
But you did start in gospel though, didn't you?
I did. I absolutely did. So I worked at my church, Overcoming by Faith, which is my home church. I worked for them for 10 years doing sound as a sound tech. So like I got the experience doing sound checks with a lot of big gospel artists. So I started off singing in the car. So that's kind of how the doors open for me, singing in the car. You know, when you have them rough days and you need to call on his name. So I had to, I started posting those videos and those vulnerable moments. And I saw the feedback that I got from it, and it kind of built my platform from there.
Right. Did you do a lot of lead singing in the choir?
I didn't, but my mom is a singer. So
okay. Because you said you got a musical family, basically.
Yes, I do. On my mom's side, my granddad, he was in a group, and they did a lot of traveling throughout churches. But and my mom, she's a singer. She's still singing now, and she kind of move around in the Seaport area, singing in different choirs and things like that. So that's where my foundation came from, having a musical family. My uncles, we were all in the band. We all was in Jenkins High School band. So from trumpet, the baritone, the drum line, my sister played the drums. So we was all a family that was musically inclined. So it kind of fueled my desire to go into music and kind of pursue my dream. And then also my uncles had a barbershop, Center Stage and Platinum Music and Cut, Skidaway. So, when you go in the barbershop, you're going to hear all the tunes, selling the CDs at the door.
Right.
So we heard it all, from Angie Stone to Lauryn Hill to all of this stuff, Silk, all of it. Hey, I'm checking. I stayed grounded. I'm telling you, I stayed grounded within. I was always surrounded by music, and the older I get, the more I kind of pursue it seriously, like kind of pushing it.
And the reason I asked that question is because I sung in the choir too in my younger days, but I was so scared of being a lead singer. I've never led a song. They wanted me to, but I wasn't gonna do it. I was talking about, I was petrified. First of all, I was scared just being in the choir as it was, but talking about getting out there and being the lead on the song, nah, that wasn't for me. I think I was always cool with being in the background, but then I think once I started posting those videos, people was like, oh, you sing, so we need to pass you the mic. So I think I did my first little snippet of a song, intentional, with my church, Overcome by Faith, for my pastors. I think it was his anniversary or something. And then after that, my mom was like, oh, you're going to sing. If you're going to stay in my house, you're going to sing. So she kind of just, every funeral, birthday party, we had to sing. Right. We had to get up and start singing. So that's how I got introduced to leading a song through that way. Gotcha. Like they say down here, you don't sing, you sing.
Yeah, sing.
Yeah, you sing.
You gotta sing.
You got to sing. Bro, look, I get it. And that's what's up. Having that musical background like that, it tends to lead you in that direction. For me, all the men in my family, they were preachers, reverends, pastors. You know what I mean? My great granddad and my granddad and my uncle, all of them were Reverend Daniels. You know what I mean? And so, it was always said that I would be a preacher because they were preaching. So I find myself doing things like this now, and it's ain't that kind of coincidence? I'm not in the pulpit or anything, but
you preaching in your own way.
Exactly.
You're preaching in your own way. You still spreading the gospel, the love. That's the main thing we're supposed to. We here to be disciples. So you illustrating, illuminating God's love through your podcast.
Exactly.
Through, when people see you on screen, so you doing some form of ministry. So you still in alignment.
You get it. C'iante. I like you. You get it.
You still in alignment.
Because I just had a conversation with somebody, and they were asking me do you think certain people, when they look at this, when they look at your interviews, when they look at your channel, are they gonna feel a certain type of way? And I'm like, listen, man, you gotta meet people where they at. You can't, I can't be here in the ivory tower and think that I'm holier than thou. Like, no, I come from this environment. So, you know, when I got to go and do my work, like you said, you know, in my ministries, I got to reach the people where I'm at.
Right.
You know? And
it's like God he wasn't in the church. He went out into the field to get the people. He didn't stay within the church walls like the church will tell you, like, you going to hell if you going to the club. But I believe God is like one of them people that he gonna meet you wherever you are, like
wherever you
at. Like, we say we Christians, like, and my pastor was saying, like, you know how Apple has their symbol everywhere you go, like, you know, an Apple product. Yep. So wherever I go, you gonna know in Christ at the beginning of it. So I'm supposed to be a representative of the faith, of the relationship that I have with God, not necessarily, you know, the religion part, but the relationship I have with God. So it's like I'm gonna meet people where they at. However they present themselves. Yep. We ain't all come out of the womb like perfect. Like, he made us in his image, but he also set us apart and gave us, you know, he allowed us to be tempted by temptation. He was tempted. So before he got crucified. So we just got to look at the bigger picture on like discipleship in general. Like, we supposed to go out into the world and just spread the gospel.
That's it. So, I agree with you 100% on that. Like, you can, I have nothing against going to church, you know what I mean? Like, but I think people get it twisted. Like, you got to go to church. It's like, okay, going to church is one thing, but getting out here and doing the work is something totally different.
Right.
And so you got to get out here and do the work if you're going to reach people. Like you said, Jesus wasn't in the church preaching. He was out here in the field. Like, in today's terms, he was in the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Jesus was outside. He was outside with it.
Yeah, like, and he didn't look at somebody and say, "Oh, she a prostitute, so she can't rock with me." He met the lady at the well. He met the lady with the issue of the blood. Like, we can go on and on. We can. Paul was in jail. He was in prison. So he met these people where they was. Moses was a murderer. Right. So, like, so that he still used him to free the people of Israel. So like, we all gotta, you know, I think that's why so much of the young people are afraid of the church, because the hypocrites that's within the church, but we're not all represented by those, you know, those one or two people that try to make the church a bad thing. And you are the church. We are the church. Every time we go out into we the church. We are. That's why they said keep that temple holy. That's it. And we talking about the temple meaning the body. Like, this is our temple. Like, that's the body. So we going out. Anytime anybody experience us, they experiencing like God.
Yeah, I ain't gonna sit here and lie, but we having Sunday service right now. I did not expect the conversation to kick off like this. But me and you on the same frequency, because that's just what it is. It's like, people don't really get that. I tell people, I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna be who I am. I'm comfortable in my skin, but I know my purpose. I know why I'm doing certain things. So, like, when I had the Street Facts interviews, and I want people to tell their experiences in the streets or whatnot, but we're not glorifying that lifestyle. It's the lessons that you learned while going through what you had to go through to get to where you at now. You know, and that's the whole purpose. But we're gonna digress, because we're gonna have to pass the collection plate around in a minute.
I'm telling you, man, go ahead and have a little community.
All right, so you got serious with your music back in 2013?
Right. That's when I made my first video, and just kept putting out videos. Every time I was in the car headed to school, I was just recording, whether it was going to school, whether it was going to work, like, I was recording, trying to make sure I get me a following. I thought that one video just kind of brought so many people to my page. So that's where I got my first start, like, seriously going after my dream. Because, you know, back in the day, like, honestly, when I look at our parents' generations, they didn't really believe in that whole, you know, they want you to go to school and get a real degree, quote unquote, or what they call it. Like, you got to go get a real degree. Right. Something that's going to bring the bread to the table, not just, you know, The bread and the butter is important. So your passion had to kind of sit on the back burner. So although I was in school doing IT, I was still pursuing my music and connecting with people and things like that.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's crazy you say that with the quote unquote real degree. Because in the conversation that I had today, that topic kind of came up on my end. Because I was like, look, I don't have a master's, I don't have a bachelor's. I got an associate's degree, but you know, I'm not a PhD. I'm not a three-letter Greek organization or whatnot. Right. And it's like, but if you're looking at the way the world is going right now, it don't take that no more.
It doesn't. It actually doesn't.
It don't take that no more.
You can post a video on social media and get viral, and hey.
That's my point. You know, it's like we got to learn how to adapt with the changes that the world is going through. Because if we don't, like, even with getting out here in ministry or whatnot, if you don't change with the world, you're going to get left behind. You're going to be forgotten about. And like, you know, pursuing your passion has become something very tangible and very real in the world that we live in now. Right.
Absolutely. And I agree. Now, I won't take anything again, you know, away from my degree, because it has got me to where I am, because you do need, honestly, you need money to make money, honestly. So this was the fuel that I needed to fuel my dream. Like this was the gas I needed to kind of get me out there as far as my passion goes. So I put my first single out. I wrote that song. I was working at FedEx. Okay. And it goes back to what we was talking about with having a degree. I literally had just graduated from college, 2019. And it was during COVID. I think 2020 is when I actually started working there. I lost my job because they laid off people. So I had to get out here and get it. My mama, that's one thing she taught us, is don't wait for nobody to give you anything. Right. Go out here and get it. So I wasn't waiting on no unemployment check, no hit at nobody who was. Right. But I got out here and went to work at FedEx, and I remember sitting on the back of the truck, and I was just like, dang, I miss the good old days. Like the days where I was able to go outside and wait on the ice cream truck to come. Like playing with my cousins, like the grass was really green on that side. Like if we look at it, and it's like this adult life, this like life is lifing right now. Yep. We got people dying, we got people getting sick. We don't know during that time we didn't know what Corona was. So it's like we were trying to figure it out. So I wrote that song on the back of the trucks, and I was just like, dang, I miss those days when we didn't have nothing to worry about. It was no responsibility. It was like you wake up and going outside to play. You know, clean up the house. You know, you got to clean up the house. But, you know, we was waking up and going outside to play, drinking out the water hose, just doing stuff.
Man, talk about it, man. Like, talk about it.
Either you going to be in or you going to be out.
Hey, you just took the words out my mouth. Them days when you going to be in the house or you going to be, don't be going inside and not my house. You going to be outside. Out. Yeah, like, bro, them were the good days. I miss them. It's like, people don't understand, like, we didn't worry about what was in our water, man. We drunk out the water hose. Turn that water on, drink out that water hose, and keep on moving, keep on playing. Keep on moving. That's one of the things I try to tell my kids, like, man, stay young. While you
I think we was all in a rush. For a little while, we was all in a rush because we thought, quote unquote, like once you get 18 or 21, you had some special privileges, but we didn't know those privileges came with responsibility. Responsibility as far as like bills. You know, it wasn't just all fun and games. We saw them going out. We saw our aunties and uncles going out, and it was like, dang, we can't wait till we get old enough to go out. You know, but now it's like, dang, I really wish I was a child again. I wouldn't have to worry about it. I'm telling you. Like, it's like, we got to go to work in real life. We got to go to work.
Man. It's crazy, boy, because I swear to God, I be thinking about, like, damn, boy, I wish I could just. And then I start thinking about, you know, some of the opportunities that I let slip through my fingers back then. And I tell my kids this all the time. I say, man, just listen to what I say. Because I done went through it, so you ain't got to go through it. I done made the mistakes for you. I'm just telling you, look, do it like this so you ain't got to go through this. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what I feel like. For me, I look at that as a blessing. Because I'm not gonna let it go in vain. As far as, I don't believe in losses, I just believe in lessons. So
absolutely,
yeah. So I look at it like me going through those lessons put me in a better situation to be a better steward for my children and growing up. You know what I mean?
And I will say too, in our minds back then, and this is something I'm still learning. Like, we thought age made you an adult. But it's not the age that make you an adult. It's the way that you respond to the responsibilities that that you have, and your response to things, if it's going good and whether it's going good or bad. Because he said all things work together for the good of those who love me and who's called according. So it could be good things, it could be bad things, but it's your response. Like, you got grown people out here having tantrums.
Yep.
So being of age does not make you an adult. And I think during that time, we thought age, like, oh, when I turn 18, I'm grown.
Right.
No, you're not really grown. You have the ability to go out here and do some things, but you ain't grown.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because when I actually left the nest, I was 17. But I was an ignorant. I'm talking about, I ain't gonna say ignorant. I was ignorant. 17, like, I was a plum fool out here, man, and it cost me a lot. Like, I went through a lot of unnecessary stuff just because I wouldn't listen. Like, my folk were trying to tell me to go to the military. Like, man, I ain't finna go fight them with no white man war and this, that, and the third, and yada yada boom boom, and only to go to prison and do the same thing that I was gonna do in the military, but now I'm just doing it for free, and I ain't got no rights, I ain't got no privileges, I ain't got no nothing. See what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna tell you this: you learn something through that. You learn something through going through those experiences, and that's one thing. That's why I told you in the beginning, like, I will not take away or try to paint a beautiful picture, because you have to go through things to actually go through them, to like get a new perspective and gain new perspective, so that you can get to the next thing that God has for you, the next door that's going to open for you. That's going to elevate you and expand your territory. Like, you need to go through those things. Like, if I didn't go through some of the things that I went through, like, I wouldn't have the fight that I have today to like really get out here and make it. It's a lot of young kids think that, with everybody blowing up on social media, which I don't think nothing is wrong with it. Right. But when you see so much microwave success, you think that is how it's supposed to be. Like, it's gonna happen like that for everybody, just but everybody's story is different. But if we didn't have those experiences, we would not have been able to push ourselves to go to the next level, and like not be complacent where we was. It just gave us fuel to get us to the next level. Like, we continue to elevate because of those experiences. We like, I don't never want to go back here. These are the lessons that I think it's a song that says, my L's is lessons. They stand for lessons. And that's really what it is, experience.
That's it.
Our experiences, it teaches us how to elevate and really fight to become better.
You're absolutely right. I was having a conversation with my son, and this is a harsh truth that our generation, I think we're learning it now. Like, we were better, like me and you, we were better because of the hardships. Like, we became who we are because of going through what we had to go through. So what we, in turn, once we get to where we at, like right now, we have this mentality of, my kids ain't gonna have to go through what I went through, right? But what that does is, it makes them, in a sense, weaker than what we were. Because they didn't have to face the same adversity that we had to face. And when you use that term, that microwave success, that is a big problem. Man, my son has been out of the house for about a year now. And this Negro done went through more jobs than I can count. Because it's, number one, it's not fitting him. But number two, he's looking for the instant success. Right. And I'm like, bro, real life don't work like that. Like,
you gotta build it brick by brick.
That's it. Like, you gotta start from the bottom. You're gonna have to get it from the mud. Point blank, period. But he sees it now. But in the beginning, he didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like he would just, this ain't working, so I do this. Now you put yourself 2 weeks in the hole because you done jump from this job to this job. Now you gotta work a week in the hole hill, and now, you know, he just couldn't get it. But I think that due to the fact of us, like, you know how the old folks just tell that, well, you gonna runt that child.
Right.
Like you can really ruin a child. They didn't say ruin, but they said runt.
Right.
And it's like, I think, you know, for me, I didn't do that. Like I'm being honest, shout out to my kids. I got 2 great kids. They just, you know, they're just figuring it out. But
they have to, like we did.
Yeah, but for a lot of kids or a lot of parents, man, trying to be that child's friend and just trying to give them everything their heart desires, like you're giving them a sense of entitlement that is a fairy tale in the real world.
Right. Because if you don't work, a man that doesn't work doesn't eat.
That's it.
So you gotta have even though you're gonna provide them with we always try to do better than what we experience. But within doing better, you gotta find better ways to show them that it ain't, when you get out into the real world, you still gotta work for this. So if that means like, hey, we going to Walmart and you might want this CD, because back in the day we had CDs, but we couldn't get no CDs. It was clean. Them grades was good. Yep. Like you're not rewarded for just, you know, doing the bare minimum, right, or doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like you have to, you know, that's where it comes with work ethic, like how to build work ethic. I feel like in those types of spaces where you've gotten yourself and your family to another level, so they don't have to experience the real, you know, the nitty gritty, like the real dirtiness of the trials and tribulations, but they do experience, like, understand, like, you gotta work in order to eat, like, and I think that's what we handicapping them by just giving them, it's Christmas, we gonna get you a PS5, but if he failing, he don't need a PS5.
Hey,
we need to get him a book.
You better preach. Yeah, you better preach, because I'm that way. Like, man, if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do in school at the minimum, like, you ain't, don't be expecting this $1,000 Christmas that you might be expecting. Right. Like, so on the other hand, like with my daughter, my son and my daughter, they both were the same way. Like, I own my own janitorial business, so they help out. That's, you know, when I need them to help out. Like, you're gonna get up, you're gonna go clean this building up, or I need you to clean this building up, or I need you at this school or whatnot. And because it's not the fact that they have to do it, it's the fact I want them to understand that you got to work, you know what I mean?
You gotta work.
And so my daughter and my son, they're night and day. Like, my son, he's just as brilliant as my daughter is, he just lazy. Well, he was lazy. But you know how boys is in school, right? Like, we ain't like that. But my daughter, on the other hand, she's a rock star. I'm talking about, she killing it, you know what I mean? She like the state president in Beta Club. Oh, okay. 4.5 GPA, you see what I'm saying? And
shout out to her.
Yeah, and so now she got me wrapped around her little finger, because number one,
she's doing her job.
But number two, she doing her job. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it, no matter, I can't even remember telling my daughter no about something. You know what I mean? If she asks for something, that's another thing. She, you know, she's like her mom. She's expensive, but she's not needy, if that makes sense.
Right.
You know, yeah, she, you know, girls gonna be expensive anyway, but she's not.
Of course.
But my whole thing is, and she understands it, as long as she's doing what she's doing, she can get the world from me, you know. Right. But when she start dropping the ball and dropping the bag, daddy gotta let you know, like, things will change, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think
but you're training them up. You're training them up not just to have a, you know, you training them up for business, in a sense. A lot of us was not taught how to balance a checkbook, or was not taught about savings and things like that. And like, we are clueless when we do get out into the world and trying to figure out credit scores and how to save money and how to invest in you know, in different stocks. Like, we don't have that education because it wasn't instilled in us, but you providing them with that, showing them what a businessman looks like, how a business is ran. So that we need that. We need that. And teaching starts at home. So as much as we send the kids to school, like, your ministry starts at home. Like teaching them kids how to read, it starts at home. Like you don't just send them to school and expect the teachers to do the whole job and not do your part as well. So it all goes together.
That's it. So let's get back on track, because again, you know, we having great dialogue. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I can talk like this all day, but I really want the emphasis and the focus to be on you. So, Lighthouse Church. Tell me about it.
So Lighthouse Church is in Humble, Texas. I joined it actually in 2020 during COVID. I was a Lighthouse Nation member, which is online member. But then once I got here, I ended up kind of joining the church physically. So it's ran by the pastor, Keon Henderson. I know everybody done seen him in social media, but that's my pastor. I love him. And he's and also he do have some assistant pastors like Pastor Hammond and Bishop C'iante Henderson, which is great leaders as well. But I went there. I love my foundation. He's not a pastor that kind of tiptoe around the things that we don't want to hear, like the bad parts of the Bible. He kind of illustrates and teaches on like the good and the bad, and I like that about him, because we need the whole story, not just part of the story, not just the context within the story. So he's a great leader since I've been under him. Honestly, like today, his message about being locked in, it kind of put a little fire to me with me finishing off this semester, and then I'm getting ready to start a new semester. Like he talked about being locked in. I'm like, I gotta be locked in and stop getting distracted about
that's what I want to ask. When you said locked in, can you elaborate on that message a little bit?
He said being locked in and like not being pulled because of you reflecting on the past. You worried about the pressure of the present, and then you anxious about the future. So we got to focus in on we got to live and focus in on what you have now. Like, what can I do now in this season? Like praying and asking God to be in alignment with whatever his plan is, so that you can go get it and you can be, you can have that drive. Like, so he just saying, lock in.
Right.
We get distracted. We get real distracted, and we by things that people have done. Like, we gotta put all of that aside and like go after what we want. Because mom and daddy, what they did to us back then, it doesn't matter. Not saying that we don't empathize, but we got to keep moving forward if we want to get somewhere.
That's
the only way to move forward is to stay focused, lock in.
Yeah, that's a powerful message, especially, and I wasn't even looking at it in that aspect. Like, we tend to hold on to things from our past and let that, influence us in the present. I was just looking at it from an aspect of all the distractions that we have today, just outside of but when you add it all up, like with the distractions that you experience today, the stuff that we've been through in our past, the trauma that we still trying to heal, it's hard being locked in.
It's hard. It's definitely hard, because then now you triggered by something that you done seen on social media. You triggered by it. So, because I won't sit up here and act like, everything is all great. I have my days. I can be triggered by something I see on social media, but it's like, yeah, I'm triggered by it, but I'm not going to allow it to affect me from keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. Like, I know that, better is ahead. Greatness is in store for me. So I got to keep going, keep pushing. And he said, press. So you got to pray until something happens.
Yep. Pray until something happens and press on. Keep it moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I ain't gonna sit here and lie. You said you be triggered. Now, that's another good topic right there, as far as being triggered by what you see on social media. I think that's something that we tend to not try to communicate a lot, but I think that's a big problem with a lot of individuals out here. Like, social media is triggering. And
yes, it is.
It's triggering. I know it's like that for me. I was just having a conversation with me and Beck. We're talking. I was like, he had made a post on Facebook So, in conversation, I'm like, what you meant by that post, man? He was like, oh man, I was just blowing some steam, did that and the third. And so like for me, I try to use a rule of thumb when it comes to social media, and always think before I press send or before I press post, because words have no context. So I can say one sentence, but 1,000 people are going to see it. And I might not mean nothing by it, but I guarantee you, somebody out there gonna feel a certain type of way about what I said. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no context behind it. And I might not even be thinking about that person, but it's triggering to them.
Right.
And it happens to all of us.
And that's why you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what you post. You can't just reacting out of emotion. And my pastor talks about it all the time. Because he is the viral pastor that always go viral. Because people take stuff, they take the pretext and they don't know the full context. So, and he always says that, like, y'all take these little snippets and you triggered by the snippet, but you don't know the whole story. And I love that about him, Pastor Keon, and his, the way that he's been kind of like bringing culture and kingdom together, like
Pastor Keon.
Pastor Keon Henderson. I
gotta check him out.
He is a great leader. You probably done seen him on social media. I'm pretty sure he's married to Shawnee O'Neal. That's what everybody be knowing him by. But
gotcha.
He's more than that. He's more than just a spouse to a powerhouse. He's more than a spouse. Together they're a power couple. They have a great influence, not just on the Houston community, but also LA and Atlanta. They do so much within the community. So I'm grateful to be a part of that ministry, just going and being in the house.
So another question. When we talked in the pregame, you had told me that you wrote for
his lead singer, Kafia Rollison. She is the Sunday's Best contestant. I can't remember what season. I guess I should have looked that up. But she was one of the contestants. I am currently writing for her, and I can't wait. I just did a four-song EP yesterday. We finished up with that, and just God opened up a door for that. Like, that was beyond, kind of blew my mind, because I left at Georgia from where I was on the radio. I had community connections, but now I'm kind of starting over. But God definitely, he's pulling the pieces together and allowing me to network with some dope people. Even Alec Walls from the Walls Group, they were signed with Kurt Franklin, and recently signed with Erica Campbell's husband.
Yes.
I have a song with him, with them, and they're actually a Stellar Award-winning group. So I've been blessed to make those connections. I'm connected with them before I used to move here, but I've been blessed to make connections since I've been here.
And I'm being honest with you, just in conversation, this is the first time we done really had, this ain't the first time, this is the second time, but this is the intimate conversation, like you chopping it up or whatnot. And you deserve to be blessed, sister. I ain't gonna sit here like you a dope person.
I appreciate it.
And you really get it. Like,
I appreciate it.
And I like, and it does my heart well, and it's good to my soul to see that a dope person as yourself is getting those type of opportunities, because in this world that we live in, man, and trust me, I know from experience, it's like we catch hell. The righteous, like we catch hell, man. So it makes me feel good to understand that it's some light at the end of your tunnel, and it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for you. So I salute you.
I appreciate that. And of course, I started my nonprofit back in Georgia before I even moved here.
So let's talk about your nonprofit.
It's called Limitless Innovative Thinkers. I plan to move it to Houston soon, but we did a lot of, we had a partnership with iHeartRadio with CJ the DJ, and he has been one of my closest friends since I've met him, like through doing GMAS testing prep rallies to tutoring children within the community. We did like this big love fest in the park where I brought a bunch of celebrities down each year just to kind of get the community like geeked up, like they can be whoever they want to be. They can walk in the calling that they have been they've been called to, the purpose that God has given them. But because a lot of kids they look at their circumstances and they think that it's unobtainable because of where I am now.
Right.
And just go back to what Pastor said today, like Paul was in prison, but he still had joy. So it's like being able to praise God and have joy in the midst of whatever circumstances that you are up against, whether it's staying in the urban communities or whether, you're not having the best upbringing or you're not having somebody to pour into you. Like, I wanted those children to know that I can be that person to pour into you and fill your cup up,
Mm-hmm.
I will be that beacon of light that we're supposed to be. So that's what my nonprofit was about. I enjoyed it. We did back to school giveaways. We even went to the shelter and gave out shoes, Nikes, Hirachis, Jordans. We did it all. Like, we went into those communities and like made our presence known and let them know, hey, just because you're going through this doesn't mean you won't get through this.
Right.
So it's like it's light at the end of the tunnel, and I always want to be a blessing. We are blessed to be a blessing to somebody else. So I always want that to be the goal. Like,
that's one of the phrases I use. I'm just blessed to be a blessing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be a blessing, man. And I like that. Limitless, innovative thinkers. So basically, they lit.
Yeah, they lit. Yeah, we lit. Be lit.
That's why I like it. That was dope. That's why I said, yeah, you lit. And I'm just letting you know now. I'm gonna use that, man. You lit, bro. You're a limitless, innovative thinker. Like, I like how you use the acronym. That is dope, man.
I drew up the logo with the brain was exposed, because when you think of being innovative, you think of like your mind going to another level. So we're exposing the mind within that logo. Mm-hmm. So it's just like it all went together. And then during that time, everybody was like, "Oh, we lit." Right. Although lit had a different meaning during that time. It meant like getting drunk or turning up or whatever. But like, you really lit, like limitless, innovative thinkers. Like, we even changed the song and went to the schools for the GMAT test and did the lit song. I think it was by the Baby. I think the Baby put out something, and even did Drip Too Hard. Like, gave them some testing tips with Drip. Like, read the directions of the test. Like, we really like put some effort into like cultivating those kids where they are, like trying to show them like, you stay in school, you'll reap the benefit.
Exactly.
Like you'll really get the gems that you need that's gonna take you to the next step, and keep you going up. Going up.
Hey man, I ain't gonna sit here and like, that's dope. That's dope. Mm-hmm. Like I told you on the phone in the pregame, like I'm currently working on starting my nonprofit, the real initiative or whatnot. We ain't got it off the ground yet, but I definitely be reaching out to you to get some pointers and some tips as far as.
I'm here. We here to reach down and grab somebody else up, even if it's the knowledge. Like, hey, hit me up anytime.
Hey, I appreciate it, Sid. So, another question that I got. And we've already been on about an hour now. It's time flying. It's another question that I got for you, because again, you're the first. Well, let me ask this question first. Mm-hmm. When you make music, what's your genre of music that you?
My genre is neo soul, because that's what I was like really inspired by. I love the neo soul. I saw the Jill Scotts and the Angie Stone, like. They didn't have to look a certain way. They was all, we thick girls. We wear our natural hair sometimes. And if we look at the industry now, thick girls, they don't really glory. We're not highlighted a lot. So they don't expect us to walk in our authentic selves, because they got the BBLs and the people with the, all the stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. But you didn't have people like, those were people that I looked up to, like, as far as coming up with my genre of music being neo soul, like speaking from the soul, like life music, really.
Right. And I appreciate the life music. Like, I'm a big neo soul fan. Mm-hmm. But you speak on that BBL, and I call it, like, what we're living through right now was a BBL era. And again, I would co-sign with you and said, There's nothing wrong with that. However, me having a 17-year-old daughter, I don't want my daughter to think that she has to have, I don't want my daughter to think that she's not good the way she is.
Right.
And that's the only thing that really bothers me about this era. It's like it's making these young girls think that that's what's up, or you're not good enough the way
until
you
look like this. Like
exactly.
You got to mimic what you see with this. This is the standard now. And until we pour back into young people and tell them, hey, this is not the standard. The standard is to be authentically you. Because you can't ask God to do something in your life and bless you and provide you what he has for you if you showing up trying to be like somebody else.
Right.
Like you can't get all that God has for you if you showing up as somebody else. Because you're not you. You're not who you was called to be. So let's embrace who we are, what we look like. It's okay, it's okay if you thick, you slim thick, it's okay. It's a beautiful thing. We come in different shapes, sizes, but we also have to embrace like who we are and love ourselves, and don't think because you can get the BBL and still not be well.
Yes.
Still not be well on the inside.
Right.
You look good on the outside. Yeah, this man might want to date you, but even a lot of the guys, just getting their perspective. Recently, I was talking to some guys at my job. They was telling me like, they don't like the fake bodies. It looks some people ain't coming out right.
I'm one of them. Like that's what I was gonna say. It's like man, you're not proportioned well. Like
right.
like you. This is big, but the legs don't match up with the hips and the
right.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's that. But see, I'm just more of a natural person myself as a man. I'm attracted to natural beauty. Like my wife, she don't wear makeup. The closest thing that she'll put on is some mascara and some lip gloss. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan.
Same here.
I'm a big fan of just natural beauty. Like if you got to do all that, to me, and I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying that this is the case, but it seems like
you showing up as a representative.
Right.
You're not showing up as you.
Exactly. It seems like it might be some insecurity still, and you need to be secure in who you are. Like you ain't insecure in who you are. You don't take all that. I mean, but if that's what you want to do,
go for it.
Right.
But you gotta, being that you have a daughter, that's one thing. I don't have any kids, so that's one thing that I will make sure that I instill into my godchildren and my future children is like, love you.
Right.
If you can't do nothing else, like love God and love you.
Right.
Because outside of that, you could take the money, you could take everything from me, but I'm left with me. And you can get all of that to me, and I still not feel fulfilled because those things are not like that's not value. Like that doesn't add value to you.